is the map of the fire district. But that's the new one. And so now we have to, so Barbara also printed out, this was the original 5-page landowners of the recharge area. By the way, Jim, sadly, you can't vote. Your tenants can vote, but the bylaws clearly state registered voter residing within the fire district. But Barbara said, well, you could change that. I mean, we got enough to do right now, but maybe, I mean, it makes sense to me that ratepayers should all have a vote, whether.
He pays for the store account.
Sorry?
He pays for the store account.
We got some of
I pay for drains and I pay for the house next door. I pay 3. And,
But because you don't live there.
right, this was my original thought way back when. Even though I thought it was weird, I sat with the rules.
Yeah.
When they initially put into the system that I could not vote on anything down here, which all I wanted was the water, so I made it care.
Well, but the board has the power to amend the bylaws
Yes.
at a, future special meeting, and could just add in and ratepayers. But for this August 17th vote, it's just going to be residents within the.
I'm in that same boat.
You?
I'm in the same boat.
Yes, you
Yeah.
cannot vote. But Doug and his wife can vote, I and my wife can vote.
That's the question I was going to ask. 2 folks in the household.
It says residents of
Yeah.
the fire district.
Right.
So if you reside with it, whether you're hooked up to the. hooked
So
up to
what
it or
is,
not,
what does that mean about the Green Mountain Trailer Park? Does that mean
They can all vote.
they all vote, or?
If
If
they
they're
were
registered okay.
registered voters.
Okay,
So Melissa can vote and she's
Melissa
registered.
can vote, yes. And both Steve and Lauzon, Steve McKay and Donna Lauzon can vote. Anybody who lives in a fire district who's a registered voter gets 1 vote. So the procedure of the special meeting, there are going to be 2 volunteers. Wendy Hopkins has agreed to do it, and she asked Diane Lamb, but this was when it went July 20th. There will be 1 person with this list of landowners, and there will be 1 person with the list of all voters in Pownal, and you have to be on both lists. But it's going to be a little bit of a, to raise your hand and swear it's true, because many of these properties are owned by people. I mean, here's one from Troy, New York. Here's one from Williamstown. There's
And
some
that
from.
doesn't cover the actual residents of the trailer parks, right? Because most of them are renting their
Yeah,
trailers.
but if still, if they're registered,
Yeah.
But if they're
if they're registered voters,
then they're,
and they're
so they don't
residing.
need to be on the landowner
right,
list. but if
no,
they're
no, that's what we're
registered-
saying, the landowners are kind of up the creek because we don't,
Right,
because I live outside the district and I own a property within the district,
right.
but, that's the whole, that's what we're getting at.
So, at the expense of the board, we are going to have to mail a new letter out to all the all these addresses. And on this letter, we'll just have to say, please forward to your tenant.
Can you have an Australian vote? Because it is summer, not everybody can make it to the vote.
No, that's what you were saying before, it's gotta be,
I
that
will
even,
read you the, no, it has to be a vote of the people present. It has to be what's called a 4 vote, yes. And
And what's supposed to be named for that?
it's following the laws of the state of Vermont, which is you've got to do it the way your charter is set up. I mean, at the beginning of this discussion,
somebody was talking about dealing with, what's the name of the agency there, right?
Administrator Elections J.P. Isabel.
At the beginning of the meeting, he was talking about having to change language because of talking with them, and then we talked about the floor vote, explaining what it was
Yes,
stuff like that.
Well, I
So-
think you can have an Australian vote if you have the polls open from 10 to 7. Isn't that what it is?
no, yeah, you can if it's in your bylaws or your charter. We can't, it's not in our bylaws and we can't change them just for this vote. Here's what it says. Special meetings, number 4 of section Article 4, meetings of the fire district. Special meetings shall be warned upon the application of 3 or more voters of the fire district or 5% of the voters of the district, whichever is greater. Now, we didn't dispute that. There were 7 signatures, but there's enough controversy that the board decided to have this special meeting and vote rather than say what you didn't come up with 9 or 13 or whatever, would be 5% of the voters of the district.
What is the,
5% of the ratepayers, it says.
Yeah.
No,
No,
it doesn't say
This says
ratepayers.
voters.
it
Voters.
says voters.
This
Oh.
one says
Oh,
voters.
Of the district. This warning shall be the same as the warning for an annual meeting as follows. All annual meetings shall be warned by the clerk or any officer. A warning shall be published in the Bennington Banner, at the Solomon Wright Library, and at one other place designated by the Prudential Committee, and shall include a date, time, and agenda. The warning shall be posted as above, no more than 40 days and no less than 30 days before the meeting. A signed dated copy shall be recorded and be on file in the office of the Fire District. Number 2, non-resident users shall be notified by mail as above. Resident members may also be notified by mail as above. Number 6, quorum. Presence of 5 resident voters of the fire district at any meeting of the fire district shall constitute a quorum. If a quorum is present, the affirmative vote of the majority of members present at the meeting shall be the act of the fire district unless the vote of a greater number is required by statute. If there are no resident voters present, the Prudential Committee shall continue to conduct the meeting and transact business as outlined in Article 5, which is the Prudential Committee. Number 7, voting. Persons residing within the fire district who are voters in the town of Pownal shall be entitled to 1 vote on each matter submitted to a vote at a meeting of the fire district. So the important part here is the affirmative vote of the majority of members present at the meeting shall be the act of the fire district. That's the laws, and I will tell you a very trenchant quote by our lawyer, Rob Wilmington, when we were going over the contract for the solar project. He said, anybody can tell you anything, but when it comes down to deciding things, it's what's written that matters, not what anybody said. All right. So the board will have to write a new letter describing mail to the members on the list and include a copy of the new warning. All right. Take a breath here. Anybody have any comments? At this time?
I'm still wondering, wherever it was written down about these boundaries, that was on file somewhere in the town hall, is that where it was?
Yes. I will show it to you.
No, I just wondered where, you know,
It was listed in the records of the town of Pownal in
Yeah.
1992.
okay.
Yeah. It was, it's a 2-page document and it was written out. And as Barbara and I were going over it, she kept saying, these things are useless. I hate these things. Why can't they have that? These things are, you know, because it's tough. You know, I mean, she said, you need a surveyor, really. On the northeast is Mary Lewis's reservoir, northwest is Sid Clayton's house. That's like across Route 7 to include George and Carol Luther. But that's,
That's it, please.
yeah, I know.
I know.
I
We
said,
got
It's
two names.
they
No,
were-
on it.
but- No.
et cetera. In
That's
the
it.
back of Murray Lewis's house, I mean, that's pretty big, but that's
Yeah, all
what.
right, that's good. I was
So-
just wondering, you know,
So we really have two lists. One is the list of everybody in the recharge area, that if there's like a chemical spill, we're supposed to write them all a letter. Oh, by the way, there's a chemical spill, which would get there as after we wrote, you know, it's like, but they don't have any phone numbers in the town records, the listers of the property owners. And there's no list of the voters. We don't know who the voters are. We don't even actually know all our customers' names that use the water, because we send bills to the property owner, and then they bill their tenant, and tenants come and go. But it's worked all right so far. It's more or less. All right, we have had a request from Michelle Pickrell, who is here, which, Michelle hereby requests copies of meeting minutes, treasury reports, and warnings of any annual or special meetings from January 1, 2008 to December 31, 2012, recorded by Pownal Fire District number 2. Please provide the treasurer's report from May 2015, which should have been available since the June 1st board meeting. I don't know, that's a month ago, May, we had the May treasurer's report at the June 1st meeting.
That was mailed to
You didn't get it?
That was,
You shouldn't get it.
I didn't get it.
That's what I would have used to do.
well, then you can make a copy 10 minutes. I mean, I have it right here, if you
Make
want to go
one.
make a copy of it. May 2015 treasurer. I have two, no, no. I'm sorry. Anyway, I look back in my records, and I have all the treasurer's reports and all the minutes from 2010 to 2012. These are left over from some other issues that we've dealt with. But 2008 to 2010 was before Cindy was treasurer. I believe Kim Bishop was treasurer. And Cindy, I'll wait till she comes back, but she may have some, she may have them on a file, and it may be accessible, but you know, it's old-fashioned Word document, but who knows? But is it fair of me to ask why you want these records? What's going on here?
Just a public records request, I was looking for something, I want to see if it's in there.
You're looking for something? Are you looking to try and bring the board into disrepute, or recall us, or something like that? The board is, you know, we don't cherish these jobs like we're not head of Google or anything here. We're, this is more and more onerous responsibility. But, is it, tell us what you're looking
People
for, maybe.
ask me for information, and I'm like, I don't know, could be in meeting minutes, could be in treasurer's reports. And so I ask for it, and if I find what they're looking for, then I'll share it.
Well, maybe we can just tell you, is it, what are you looking for?
That's fine, I can do the work on my own.
Okay, well, let me tell you, I asked my good friend J.P. Isabel. You have to give any record to anybody that asks, and he said they're public records, yes. He said, but there is a charge for copying and time spent. It's 5 cents, and this is, it's in the Guide to Vermont Cities and Towns. 5 cents per single-sided page, and staff time over 30 minutes, 33 cents a minute. So after 30 minutes, an hour would be $33. So, we're gonna have to, and I assume it's gonna be Cindy, take these all, the staples, take all the staples out, run them through, make copies, and mail them to you, and, well, we won't mail them to you. I'll keep them.
If that's what you have right there, you could put it right in the theater over here, right at the library. It's not that much.
It's too much. I'm not doing it right now.
I work here on Fridays, I'd be happy to do it for you tomorrow, Friday, at no cost because we don't.
We're not gonna do that. We're gonna do this according to the Vermont laws.
Okay,
And,
Was it? Do I read it? Okay. That's fine.
so we'll tell you how much it is, and you can come to one of our houses and give the check, and
I'll
we
let
can
you
do
know,
the documents.
I'll let you know if I want it or if I want others. I'll ask if there's a list of specific information and then Cindy can look it up and get it back.
Cindy? Michelle has asked for records from 2008, January 1, 2008. I have everything from January 1st, 2010 to December 31st, 2012. But I don't have anything before that.
I don't think I have anything before from 2008. We had to do it for the other customer. We didn't have anything on.
Well, you had some kind of computer file or disk or something that Kim Bishop gave you?
Oh, it was in the computer. I can look and see if I can find it.
Look to see if you can find, keep a record of your time.
2008 till
2008 to 2010. And
of the minute.
that would be treasurer's reports from Jeanette Bishop and any minutes from Kim Bishop. Okay? We'll do this as soon as we can. All right.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, my name's Dorothea.
Would you say your name again and spell it for our secretary?
Sure, it's Dorothea, and last name is Izzo. I haven't been to these meetings and I'm just not up to date with what the latest solar size of the solar project is. Where can I get that information?
Oh, well, as a matter of fact, one of my piles, I brought, I was thinking of this one, but this is a map of where the array would be.
Can I
You can have,
approach that?
approach the bench. This is a letter, let me step aside here. This is a letter from the Southern Vermont representative of the company that we have been working with, Green Lantern Development. And this is about the savings or the investment opportunity. People could either invest in a portion of the panels, or they could sign up and get 5% off their electric bill at no investment. Now, you asked specifically, and I've sent that to Ralph. I don't know if he's gonna answer that.
So what's the latest, is it kilowatts? What's the latest amount of energy there?
150.
150 kilowatts is the size of the array.
Okay.
And I think it shows like 32 panels, but I don't think that's, I mean, they made a little drawing, but the actual configuration of how many panels is on a little block it's all going to be reviewed by the Public Service Board and an environmental engineer who.
Is that gonna happen before the vote?
No, no, the vote is whether or not to go ahead with this project.
No matter what size?
No, it can't be more than 150 kilowatts. For a very short history, the board started to talk, we talked with 6 different solar developers, and the proposal was for a 500 kilowatt array. And the area is 5.4 acres. But the southern end of the area has about 1 acre south of a waterway channel. And you can't be within 50 feet of any waterway. And the board decided that we didn't have enough room unless we put panels south of the waterway, which would be right next to Nico and Marie and Chanel parents' house, like 25 feet from their garden. So we downsized it to only be set north of this waterway channel, and that downsized it to 375. Then on May 20th of this year, the Vermont legislature passed a law, an amendment to the laws about solar panel siting, and the amendment said that increased the setback requirements. And the setback requirement for a 500 kilowatt array or above 150 up to 500 had to be 100 feet. But for a 150 kilowatt array, which has a streamlined permitting process because it's smaller, it can be 40 feet. So the Green Lantern said, because of the 100-foot setback, we can only get like 225 or 235 on the available space. We're gonna change our plan and go to 150 kilowatts, which will only be north of the pump house and the well. There's a 125-foot isolation radius around the well. So it's 125 feet north of the well, 40 feet back from Route 346, 40 feet down from the dirt road, Lincoln Street, and 50 feet from the water channel. So that small area in the northwest of the thing is the current proposal from Green Lantern Group. Okay. Yes, sir.
Question is, you're downsizing because of various things here. How does that work with your finances? You
I
forced
asked-
out one number and,
Yes, so I asked Ralph about that.
Mhm.
And Ralph Mahima is the Green Lantern representative. And I said, and the original deal was for $2 per kilowatt per year. So 500 kilowatts, no, $20 per kilowatt per year. It's $10,000 a year. Then when it went to 375, when we eliminated panels south of the water channel, it was 7,500. But now they're offering to zero out the electricity bill for the fire district, which is estimated at $3,655. And I said, really, Ralph, by our earlier agreement, it should be $3,000 because it's 150 kilowatts times 20 would be 3,000. And he said, well, we thought this was a better way to do this, to eliminate your electric bill. So instead of getting a payment of $3,000, we just won't have a bill. The deal in the revised contract is we pay Green Lantern $1 every year for electricity, and they pay us $1 every year for lease. And our electric bill is zeroed out at whatever it is. Now, they're very smart with finances. There's something called the add-on, whereas right now we pay our electric bill, we pay 14.1 cents per kilowatt hour. But when you generate electricity with a renewable system, whether it's a wind or a hydro or a solar, you get a 5-cent add-on, or in different situations, but for us it'd be, so we would get kilowatt hour credits of 19.1 cents, but we wouldn't get them, Green Lantern would get them. So somehow they see in their financing that they could give us $3,655 worth of electricity per year instead of $3,000 rental. So if the project goes forward, it would be on that basis. That's how it's described in a revised contract.
And they weren't interested in, like, looking at it as a percentage of what their earnings are, rather than giving you a set rate of $3,600.
This is called third-party financed. The water, the Prudential, the fire district, the water board pays nothing for this. And it's as if you had